Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another insightful demonstration of ElevinAI. In our last demo, we spoke about a couple of features which we are providing in the dashboard with respect to how we submit feedback, especially through voice. Today we're going to talk about a really important aspect of people management, and that is 360-degree feedback. What we will cover is how ElevinAI as a platform enables this 360-degree feedback and provides coaching insights about the team member to the manager so that some of the conversations in one-on-ones, in performance reports and discussions can be made more insightful and meaningful. All right, so we are on the dashboard page. As we see, we can submit a feedback about a team member. What we can also see is how many of the team members have been provided with feedback. In this case, it's 100%. So all my team members have been provided with latest feedback. I can also see how am I doing with respect to a bit of a sentiment on the feedback that I'm providing. 65% of the times I'm providing positive feedback to my team, 12% neutral, and 23% critical feedback. I do get to see my last 30 days activity just to help the manager know how active are they on the product and helping the team grow. All right, so let's start with a feedback. You have a team member, Prachi, and she did a really good job with respect to a demo that she walked through. Or maybe I think in the last week, she probably conducted a workshop session that was very collaborative. So let's provide some appreciative feedback about Prachi. So I just select the team member and click the nice mic button. So in this case, Prachi did a really good job running a workshop with the team. It was a very collaborative session, helped bring people together in a very innovative way and a highly engaging session. I would have loved if Prachi would have also called out a couple of team members from the business. Maybe she could have been more inclusive over there. So this was the feedback I just recorded, and now we would see that the AI is processing the feedback, and now we will be able to submit this feedback on the platform. As we submit this feedback, the AI beneath the layer is processing what competencies we can rate for this specific feedback. Communication, she did really well. She could have done better in stakeholder management. Innovation management, really well. Really good leadership skill. So now we submit a rating here. There we go. Now we have a feedback that has been submitted for Prachi, and what we can really now do is if we go to member insights and we have the team member selected Prachi here, we can see her basically insights about her performance, how she's doing on the performance competencies and the potential competencies. Performance competencies in this case, as we would have selected during the team creation, product roadmap, communication, stakeholder prioritization, user experience. On communication, she exceeds the team average. On others, she's very close to the team average. This is how I can look at the colors. Potential competencies, she's doing much better in leadership and partnership building as compared to the team, and almost the same in innovation management. We can also see a holistic score on potential index and a performance index, indicating the same. The potential is higher typically than the team average. Performance is close to the team average itself. All right, now let's talk about 360-degree feedback. What typically 360-degree feedback includes is getting a feedback from peers and stakeholders, and let's see how ElevinAI as a platform enables it. But also alongside that, let's look at some other insights about Prachi that we can see on the platform. Feedback sentiment, she has got a total of about 20 feedback here. 10 feedback here, 7 positive, 3 neutral. We can see some strengths. We can see areas in which she can do better. She seems to be as a core player in our 9 blocker, and we can see some of the insights around here. So let's request a feedback from one of these stakeholders. So we want to select a feedback about Prachi. Now, typically, provider's name and provider's email, if it is integrated with an organization, these can be auto-pulled as well. In this case, we do not collect any information about the company yet in our MVP. And that's important to call out. There's no data that we are collecting about the company, about the stakeholders or peers. It's all about need basis, as and when required. The manager can put in those details. So in this case, let's say provide a stakeholder named Jitender. I'll provide an email ID here. All right. Now we can also select competencies in which we want our stakeholder to rate this individual on. So stakeholder management, roadmap, communication, prioritization. What potential competencies we want the stakeholder to provide us a feedback about Prachi, we can add those, and let's do this, and then we can say send feedback request. Now what happens really is this sends a feedback request to Jitender, who is one of the stakeholders for Prachi, and we would see that what kind of communication does the stakeholder get. So in this case, let's open an email, and we would see that Jitender gets an email: your input needed, help Prachi grow. And we go there, there will be an email requesting the stakeholder that this email is for Prachi's feedback, and it will take typically less than 2 minutes to complete. So we will do a submit your feedback here. As we do this, there's a form that opens. What notable achievements or contributions has Prachi made recently? So conducted a workshop. It's okay to have spell errors. I'm doing it intentionally. And all right, so let's say the managers also felt this. Areas of excellence, what are the key strengths? Communication, she's really good at that. Facilitation, she's really good at that. What areas could Prachi focus on to enhance their effectiveness and growth? Maybe I'm going to say inclusiveness, include local leaders from the business teams. Yeah. And now here's an interesting way I can assess how she did. Probably she does pretty decent over there. She can improve roadmap. She's good. Communication, she's actually great. Prioritization, she's good. Innovation management, doing great. Leadership, doing great. Digital transformation, helping us great. And then we say submit feedback. Are we sure? Yes. Now this is how a stakeholder can actually submit feedback about Prachi, and there's a confirmation that the stakeholder will get. Now going back to our product, typically this feedback once provided about Prachi would be available into the platform right away, and we can take a look at it with respect to so this is a feedback for Prachi that the manager, as I submitted. We've got a separate feedback that we got just now from our stakeholders. So we've got ratings that Prachi got, and then also some bit of notes on accomplishments and feedback delivery suggestions, so that the manager can take a look into it as to how to provide this feedback to Prachi. All right, this was now typically that's where most of the conventional 360-degree feedback systems stop. What really makes ElevinAI unique is this insightful self-reflection that is provided as well. Now, what does a self-reflection mean? Self-reflection really enables a team member to get some questions from the manager, so that the team member can take some time, reflect on those, provide answers to the manager, so that the manager can really get to know what the team member thinks about herself or himself, and also about their performance as to what they did and what they could do better. Now in this case, typically the way we achieve this is we select the team member for which we need a self-reflection. Again, emails are not captured for team members. Like I said, only data is captured only when it is needed. Usually, if the manager doesn't need to communicate through this platform to the team member, they do not need to provide that email. But in case they do, they can. So let's say in this case, I just provide a email here. Let me provide my email. just for the demo purpose. Right. Now, what the platform asks is select a feedback so that Prachi can get a open reflection question based on that feedback. Now, there are two things about it. A manager might want to ask a specific question about reflection, on reflection about any specific feedback, or it could be an open reflection. When it is an open reflection, you basically, all you're doing is asking very open self-reflection questions. In this case, I'm going to be very little targeted. So let's say there was a feedback that we received from the stakeholders, which was the requested feedback here that we see. It was about running collaborative session. Let me select these two actually, because they were on the same area where she conducted a workshop. Once I do that, I'll just say generate self-reflection questions. I can select more feedback if I want a more exhaustive self-reflection exercise. Now, when I'm doing so, the AI in the backend is actually generating me some self-reflection questions purely based on the feedback that I've selected. Now, we can edit, but just for the demo purpose, I'm going to do it a little faster. So, for example, one of the questions is, what did I notice about the level of inclusiveness in the recent workshop, and how could I have involved local leaders from business teams more effectively? How can I build on my strengths in communication and facilitation to create an even more engaging and inclusive experience for our participants? What strategies can I use to ensure that I actively seek out and incorporate diverse perspectives? So this is how the ElevinAI as a platform is generating self-reflection questions. We can add more questions. We can keep it even simple. We can delete some questions as well so that it's easy for, in this case, I'm just probably gonna do a bit more of a positive engagement over here. I can add more questions if I want. I'll also select ratings on which we want the candidate to self-reflect. So maybe I'll probably add a couple competencies here that I want the candidate to self-reflect on, and then I'll just say submit request. Now, when this happens, the individual team member for which the self-reflection is requested actually gets an email. And now for the demo purpose, since I just put my email over there, we'll see if that email is available. Yes, I have it. This is how it will come from our platform, self-reflection request. Now, as we go there, we of course get an email requesting self-reflection, and it goes to the team member. So now when we say start self-reflection, we'll see one question because that's what I selected. How can I build on my strengths in communication? I'll just say, I think I was doing a decent job. I could do better, of course, next time. I could also say I tried my best, including the team members from business, but I couldn't get all of them. I don't know what to do. So let's say this kind of self-reflection. I'll say I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good here. I'm pretty good here. Actually, let's say I'm 5-star over here. Innovation management, I'm doing good. Digital transformation, leadership, I'm great. It also adds a question which you didn't select, but it's generally available, is what specific actions will you take to develop your skills or address areas for improvement? So this is to, again, specifically make the self-reflection more towards improvement so that the individual can think. I can read more about inclusiveness and see how can I improve. All right, so again, you don't have to worry about spelling mistakes, anything. That's the fun part of having an AI empowered platform. Now, just because I did this, now it's ready, and I'll the manager, once the self-reflection is done, typically will get a app notification, which we will show next time. But now what we will see here is actually very interesting. So based on this, the self-reflection is available in what I call as a rating alignment. Now this is interesting. I'll go a little slow here because this is what makes ElevinAI really impactful. we've got two sections here: manager versus peer ratings, manager versus self ratings, and the third one, which is peer versus self ratings. In this case, Prachi got a feedback from the manager, from the peer, from herself. And what we can see is what are some of the misalignment points. Any red really is a misalignment point. So let's take a look at this. In this case, the peer rated Prachi, the stakeholders rated as 5. The manager had an overall rating of 3.77 based on all their feedback so far. That's a misalignment point. In manager versus self, the manager had rated again on 3.7, but the self was also a 1 was 5, which is a point of misalignment. Peer versus self, again, very similar. We've got a prioritization as one of the candidates where the self rating is 4.5, but the peer rating is 3. Now, what does this really help the manager knowing is what is it that the stakeholders are thinking as compared to what the individual is thinking about themselves. What's also interesting is we get to know a self-reflection summary, and I really love this because it gives me, as a manager, it gives me some very basic insights about the candidate. So and these were both, and you kind of see like how AI assesses based on the responses. That what's the mindset of the individual when they are self-reflecting, what kind of goals they are trying to achieve, what kind of coachability is the candidate showing, collaboration, what are they trying to do, is there any help needed that is asked. Based on the self-reflection notes, the AI identifies what is the help that probably the candidate is looking at, and then some insights summary. I can look at details as well as to what those details are, what kind of responses were generated. So this is the latest one. I'll take a look at this one here. I can see the responses. Help needed: the team member may benefit from guidance on strategies for increasing inclusivity and engagement, as well as support in setting specific goals for improvement. There's some interesting insight summary as well here. I get some answers. I get to see how the individual rated themselves, right? Now, this is what I really call a 360-degree feedback. You get to know what the candidate or the team member thinks about themselves. You get to know a bit about them when they're self-reflecting. What are they really thinking? What help they need? Even if they've not been able to call it out upfront to the manager, maybe they were hesitant. That's what makes a manager more inclusive and insightful, is being able to get to those insights without a team member calling it out explicitly. And that's the power of ElevinAI, enabling it for the managers. The alignment matrix really helps us understand what are the areas in which we should have some sort of coaching discussions, or really maybe asking more coaching questions on why, let's say, a manager is not able to get to a point where the peer rating is 5, but the manager probably has more insights about them, and maybe it's an acceptable alignment or misalignment, and so on and so forth. So this is what really I think enables or makes the ElevinAI as a platform super impactful for 360-degree feedback and basically providing a holistic picture about the team member themselves. I can request feedback to as many peers or stakeholders as I want. I can request self-reflection as many times as I want for the team members so that I can get to know more about them. And of course, the manager keeps submitting the feedback to basically understand their own perspective about the individual. And this is what really helps manager get to know how inclusive they are with respect to getting more feedback from others. In this case, it's 91% versus 9. What could be a good ratio here? Maybe 60-40, maybe 70-30, and that's what depends on how the leader wants to take a holistic view. So that was all about ElevinAI's powerful feature of 360-degree feedback and how a manager can generate very interesting insights. Of course, I don't want to close this without looking at, when I go for a next one-on-one with Prachi, what can I really look forward to? Now that we have a holistic feedback, I can really get to understand what are some of the improvement areas that stakeholders have called out, what are some of the readings that I can recommend to my team member, and what are some of the goals that I can call out so that my team member basically gets a impactful one-on-one outcome and they're able to achieve what they want to. So this is all about ElevinAI and its amazing feature of 360-degree feedback. Thank you so much.